The headlines: Premier calls on leaders in conflict-affected constituency to resign. Trump backed down on migrants' family separation policy. Hello to you all. This is Oromia Broadcasting Network News, and I'm Thomas Kamulato. Those were the headlines. Now news in brief. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed has held discussion with residents of Wolkiti town in Gurage zone of Southern Nation, Nationalist and People's Regional States. The Premier calls on leaders in conflict affected the people of the region to resign. Leta Teresa looked at Abata Faisal's report.
Peace conference has been held in Wolkiti town of Gurage zone in the Southern Nation, Nationalist and People's Regional State. Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed has held discussion with residents of the town, expressing their happiness over the change being seen at national level. Participants of the conference, however, told the Premier that there is good governance-related problems at zonal and district level. They asked the Prime Minister to take the necessary measure on the leaders who instigated the conflict to happen between Gurage and the Kabena people.
The leaders who orchestrated the crime should be brought to justice.
The participants have also raised questions related to lack of infrastructures. They also said there is a problem in relation to all-inclusive trade system. In our town, there is no water and hospital. We need to get it, she said.
What your government is doing to bring fair trade system is encouraging. We ask the government to ensure a trade system which allows all citizens of the country to participate in a fair way.
Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed, while responding to the raised questions, urged the leaders who caused the problem to resign.
There should be democracy. Democracy is important to Ethiopia. Everybody should know that he will be responsible if he commits crime. They also should know that serving the public is respect. The leaders who paved the way for the conflict that took place between the two nations should be removed from their power. We are working to produce the leaders who service the society properly.
Dr. Abiy called on the Gurage people to maintain their culture of hard working and coexistence. He said the government would work to ensure fair trade system.
What you have to consider is that hereafter no more unfair market system in which people benefit themselves and their relatives or groups through discriminating others. It should be performed in accordance with the law. So we have to work hand in hand towards that.
The Premier called on all people of the zone to play their level best for the development and the prosperity of their country.
Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki announced a plan to send delegation to Finfinne for peace talks. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed thanks President Isaias for positive response to Ethiopia's peace and reconciliation adventure. Mohammed Nur has more on that.
Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed, addressing the parliament during his sworn-in ceremony, promised to create and strengthen smooth and peaceful relations with the neighboring countries, especially to solve Ethio-Eritrean border conflict peacefully.
ከአፍሪካውያን ወንድሞቻችን ጋር በአጠቃላይ ከጎረቤቶቻችን ጋር በተለየ በችግርም በተድላም አብረን እንቆማለን።
With our African brothers, especially our neighbors, we would stand by their side during a good and hard times. We need to sustainably solve years-long Ethio-Eritrean conflict. We would contribute our share to do this. People of the two countries have blood relation, which is beyond material benefit. We are ready to address the problem through negotiation for the sake of people and common benefit. I would like to call Eritrean government to contribute this share in this effort.
Accordingly, EPRDF Central Committee has recently decided to fully implement the Algiers Agreement of the Border Commission, which was shelved for 60 years. Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki, in televised speech he made on the Martyrs' Day, stated that his government accepted the Ethiopian call for peaceful negotiation, adding delegation of Eritrean government would be dispatched to Finfinne city to negotiate. According to the president, the last 27 years was hard time for people of the two countries.
Both Eritrean and Ethiopian people are affected by bad regional and global relation policy for about half a century. We were hoped to enter new chapter in 1991 after very cost sacrifice, but we didn't succeed.
President Isaias said the change observed in Ethiopia is promising that the two countries would get rid of these problems, adding his government would contribute its level best to realize it.
We've been suffering enough. It is obvious that people of the two countries need togetherness. This started initiative would support this. We should value the sacrifice paid for brotherhood and the common benefit of people of the two countries. So our negotiation delegates would go to Finfinne to discuss face-to-face, ignoring the propagandas.
Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed appreciated and thanked the Eritrean government for accepting call for peace. Analysts are saying the move would ease the security, political and social tension in Horn of Africa region.
General Director of Middle East African Directorate with Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Suleiman Daddafo said reluctance to implement Algiers Agreement for over 16 years adversely affected both Ethiopian and Eritrean economy. The ambassador called on people of the country to contribute for the implementation of the agreement in unison. Here is Lata Teresa for the detail.
Director General for Middle East Affairs with Ethiopian Foreign Affairs Ministry, Ambassador Suleiman Daddafo, in an exclusive interview with OBN regarding the decision passed by EPRDF Executive Committee on Algiers Agreement, revealed that the accord was signed on a legal base.
After we signed the agreement of Algiers, the cabinets of our government approved it. The parliament has also approved the accord.
The ambassador noted that the delay of the implementation of the agreement for various reasons was not right. Suleiman said the decision passed by EPRDF Executive Committee on the Algiers Agreement doesn't include something new.
It was signed 17 years ago, but not implemented at that time. The Executive Committee has made this decision taking national interest into consideration, but it never added something new.
Due to delay of the implementation of the agreement for more than 16 years, the economy of both countries has been affected.
The military forces of our country are now on the border between the two countries, basing on 1,000 kilometers. This is a great effect on our economy. We expend a huge amount of money for the military annually. If we use the capital for development, it may resolve so many economic problems. It's not affecting only our economy, but also that of Eritrea.
According to Ambassador Suleiman, the decision of the Ethiopian government is inappropriate and timely.
The government has made the decision after it deeply looked into the case. Thus, the decision is very important.
The ambassador called on all citizens of the country to contribute their level best for the implementation of the agreement.
Our people should strengthen their solidarity more than any other time. They have to be committed more than ever in this regard.
The 63rd extraordinary session of IGAD Council of Ministers kicked off in Finfinne City. Aklugab reports.
The Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, was founded to deal with issues related to food security and environmental protection, peace and security, economic cooperation and integration in the region. On the 63rd extraordinary session, IGAD Council of Ministers have held a discussion on how to restore sustainable peace and security in the Republic of South Sudan. On the event, Foreign Affairs Minister of Ethiopia, Dr. Workneh Gebayos, said IGAD member countries have been working with maximum effort to end the tragic crisis of South Sudan.
The Council of Ministers has convened 6 extraordinary meetings and informal consultations exclusively focusing on the bring peace and stability in the Republic of South Sudan. All these efforts of the region are done because we need South Sudan to get out of the tragic crisis, stand by its own feet among the community of nations.
Republic of South Sudan Acting Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Martin Elia Lomoro said his government is ready to accept the final bridging proposal.
Presented the parties on the 16th of June 2018 for the final session of the high-level forum in conformity to the decision of the IGAD heads of state and government. As stated earlier, and we sincerely and humbly congratulate the leadership of IGAD, the Office of the Special Envoy and his task force, and most importantly, the IGAD mediators, as well as the many ambassadors who silently and tirelessly worked behind the scenes. And I want to say a job well done.
Head of the Oromia Government Communication Affairs Bureau, Dr. Nagali Lenco, stated that the government would work tentatively to apply higher learning institutions' research findings to ensure public benefit. Oromia State University has organized 7th annual research symposium here in Adama town. Mukhtar has more on that.
The Oromia State University has organized the 7th Annual National Symposium on Institutional Transformation, Peace, Governance and Development of the Region in Adama Town. Representative President of the University, Nuguse Taddasa, said the symposium is intended to perpetuate development in the region while participating researchers, higher government officials and other stakeholders.
To encourage and nurture research culture, to give recognition for researchers, to disseminate research outputs to the end users, to provide platform for discussion for policymakers, law enforcement agencies, and practitioners.
On the symposium, 17 research papers have been presented, and the researchers said the findings of the researchers would have a great significance in policy making and development process of the state. They restated that they have been assessed different problems regarding college education and investment activities in the region. On the occasion, head of the Oromia Public Service and Human Resource Development Bureau, Dr. Bikla Horisa, said the research investigations would be a critical input to improve public services.
It's very timely and very important in terms of the current situation that we are in at the national and regional levels. So institutional transformation is one of the key areas that the government is actively working on since the last 3 years. And the government very clearly recognizes that unless our institutions are transformed, we cannot provide effective, efficient and accessible services to our citizens.
Head of the Oromia Government Communication Affairs Bureau, Dr. Nagari Lenco, said the government would seriously work to implement research findings to benefit the public in the region.
As a government, we would like to work to implement research findings because it is a huge capital that invested for the research purposes. So the government is ready to work for the public benefit.
Robale Gada Council of Machaoromo have appointed a Bagada of Tulu Njuro ceremonial ground in East Wallaga Zone. Olma Boyne takes up Wakshum Tafaras report.
Robale Gada members of East Wallaga Zone has been performed various ceremonies at Tulu Njuro ceremonial ground. They also appointed the Salin Faisa Abagada of the ceremonial ground and chairperson of East Wallaga Zone Gada Council. Abagada the Salin also said he is ready to work for the development of the Gada system of the zone.
Let us protect our Ardajila, our mountains, rivers, trees should be well protected. In general, Oromo land should be protected. We should protect together.
In general, 9 Gada cabinets are appointed at different positions on the festival. The leaders are also expressed their willingness to work hard.
We have made promise step by step according to the culture, so we have to implement it accordingly. We are ready to implement the responsibility that our people have given to us. We never retreat back till we fulfill the assignments given to us.
Head of Culture and the Tourism Office of the East Wallagga Zone, Achamelesh Faisa, said the appointed Gada leaders have great responsibility to protect the Gada system and transfer to the next generation. Our community should work with the Gada leaders in order to restore and protect our Gada system, she said.
This is Oben, Voice of the People. Now news from abroad. U.S. President Donald Trump has bowed to public pressure and signed an executive order promising to keep families together in migrant detention. Mr. Trump reversed his own policy aimed international fury over the separation of undocumented parents and children. He said he had been swayed by images of children who have been taken from parents while they are jailed and prosecuted for illegal border crossing. But the order does not address families already separated by the policy. U.S. immigration official says 2,342 children were separated from 2,206 parents between 5 May and 9 June. Mr. Trump said it's about keeping families together at the signing ceremony on Wednesday. He said, I did not take the side of families being separated, but added the administration would continue its zero-tolerance policy of criminally prosecuting anyone who crossed the border illegally. The BBC reported. Thank you so much for joining us. That's all for now. Have a good time.